AAK Mechanical, Peterson Insurance, Longview Bank, and State Bank of Beemont.
From the Hart Media Group newsroom and DeWittDailyNews.com, I'm Ben Hubbard with this expanded morning newscast. Good morning and thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Ben Hubbard. The news is brought to you by Baum Chevy Buick in Clinton, your Silverado headquarters, as well as Connexus, offering fiber internet in Clinton. Click their icon on DeWittDailyNews.com to find out more. DeWitt County has once again taken up the discussion of emergency sirens that are set to be decommissioned by Constellation Clean Energy. For the last few years, the county has discussed the topic of taking over the emergency sirens that are currently owned by Constellation and are set to be taken down in 2027. At Thursday night's Public Safety Committee meeting, Emergency Management Agency Coordinator Will Pavlik updated the members on a meeting he recently had with the power plant.
I wanted to bring this to light here today. We had a meeting last Friday with Constellation representatives in regards to this long project that's been going on for the last, I think, 5 or 6 years now. As you all know, the sirens are being decommissioned by Constellation here in the next couple of years. It's part of some federal oversight from the NRC and FEMA to go away with sirens as the primary source for nuclear warning for emergencies. So the goal for this implementation is going to be probably at the very latest, late 2027. So we were still looking at another year and a half or so. The current draft is sitting at the state level. It's sitting at the IEMA director's desk. And I know Constellation had said that they're not exactly sure when it'll be approved or denied if they go that route, but it's still sitting at his desk. So it has to be approved by the state and then go to FEMA. And who knows how long that'll take. But once that gets approved by FEMA, then we will have 12 months as a county to go through the decommission process. Now, I know in the past, there's been discussions about trying to see if the county wanted to keep any of the sirens. Obviously, with them being decommissioned, they're giving us the option to take them on. Unfortunately, it would be our liability, our responsibility for the maintenance, for the decommission cost, which is very costly, as I'll explain here in a second. And then just all of the upkeep, like I had said, and that will come with a lot of time and effort if the county decides that they want to take them on.
Pavlik reviewed some of the numbers for replacing the sirens that would be taken down and what the yearly cost would be to the county for maintenance, as they would be responsible for the upkeep of them.
I'm speaking to you guys first because obviously, the county's going to get first priority, first dibs on the sirens that they want. The municipalities, if they want to take on a siren, will also get the opportunity to. So those will be discussions I have here in the next few weeks as well. So currently, as the maps have showed, we've got 40 sirens. Each individual siren is looking at approximately $15,000 for the decommission cost. That includes taking down the pole, the siren head, the controls and the wiring, those are all factored into that cost. And so essentially Constellation, once they decommission it, will leave it up to the county, the municipality to go ahead and do what they want with it, in charge of putting it up and being able to have somebody have it be set off. Insurance, liability, stuff like that will all be falling on us as the county or the municipality. So that's kind of what we're looking at for cost. I did do some research in case there is interest in trying to keep any sirens. I know there's a couple that are part of the Federal Signal Corporation is the company. It's the 2001 series. There's different models, different variations. Those are all approximately 1988, 1990 in terms of age. And then obviously newer, that's the oldest version there is. But those are looking at, I believe, 15 to 20,000 to install. Obviously, that doesn't include the maintenance for that either. That's just simply the installation cost. There's another series called the 15V2T that is from the 1980s as well, 1986 to present, from Century Siren, and those are looking at, I believe, 10,000 to 15,000 for installation. The annual maintenance cost is still looking between $300 and $700 per year to maintain. I know obviously it's going to be a little more expensive when the battery needs replaced, which is about 5 to 7 years or so is what we were told. And so that could obviously reach more in the $1,000 to $2,000 range. And then other years it could be less than 500, less than 300, something like that.
The committee's previous understanding was that if they were to take on the Sirens, the poles would be left intact for the county to utilize. However, Pavlik stated that after further communication with Constellation, this seems to not be the case, which led to confusion on why the power plant would spend the money to do so.
When the decommissioning process starts with Constellation, they'll take down that siren and we'll be in charge of having to put it up. They will take down the pole, and that's part of that cost that's incurred.
But not if we take them over.
Well, they would still take down the pole anyway, based on what it is.
No,
That's a question of this task.
I think they agreed to give it to us.
That's
Why would they do that?
it's just because they've had ownership of them, and as far as I can understand, I don't think they would just take down the siren head. I think it would be the whole structure.
If they take them down, they'll take down the whole structure. But if they gift them to the county, they just walk away and say, here, for yours.
Yeah, that's the impression I was under too.
That was the impression I had, that they were willing to basically give.
Maybe that was a discussion a couple of years ago, but as far as what I am understanding from last Friday's meeting, it was the whole structure.
Yeah,
I
there was
just find it hard to
discussion,
believe
but
that Constellation would, if somebody was willing to just take it over lock, stock, they'd have to decommission it. They would send us paid to us. They would love to save $600,000. I guarantee. I'm pretty confident of that. That they would love for somebody just for us to take it over.
Right. I mean, if we're just gonna leave them out, if they're gonna take them down anyway, what a different can of worms there.
The new emergency alert system for power plant emergencies will be via phone, similar to Amber Alerts or severe weather alerts. County Clerk D.D. Rentmeister pointed out that a previous board voted no to taking over the Sirens, and Buck Carter and John Wirtz pointed out some of the concerns regarding cell reception in the rural areas of the county.
And so the transition is going to be going towards iPause and Everbridge. iPause is the integrated public alert and warning system. It's the alert you guys get on your cell phones that automatically pops up, and it's got the loud blaring noise for severe weather, other instances, Amber Alerts. Those are all part of iPause. So that will be the new primary, come time when the sirens are decommissioned. And then Everbridge will be the backup. Everbridge is a mass notification system that you opt into, similar to HyperReach, what we have right now in the county. You can get text, call, email alerts, and that will just be another redundancy for an alert that happens for any nuclear emergencies that come out of the power station.
I do want to note though, the previous county board has already voted not to take these.
I mean, there's been several discussions about the need to keep them because the cell phone or reach, whatever, doesn't work everywhere. And if you're out there in the middle of the country on a tractor, you don't know if everything's going off or not. You might hear the siren.
As far as the system you got in place now, my wife and I are together, and her phone goes off and mine don't. Sometimes mine does, sometimes it don't.
With around a year and a half to make a decision, the committee did not take any action on the agenda item and requested that Pavlik find out more about Constellation's plan to decommission the siren poles as well as the siren heads. You're listening to the WHOW Morning Show. Let's take a quick break with a word from our sponsors.
Spring into savings this May with a new Chevrolet. This is Scott Baum from Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton and Farmer City. Savings with a new car? Yes, with our fuel savings model like the Chevy Trax with 40 miles per gallon highway, the Chevrolet Trailblazer, and Chevrolet Equinox with 33 miles per gallon highway. And don't forget about our EV options, the Chevrolet Bolt and Equinox. Chevrolet, together let's drive. BaumChevyBuick.com, right from the start.
It's the quiet moments you count on. A call that connects instantly. A show that never buffers. A home that just works. That's the difference with Connexus Fiber Internet. We built a buried fiber network designed for consistency, earning us the title of top-rated fiber internet provider in Illinois. With plans starting as low as $25 a month and 3-year price lock options, it's reliability you can feel without the unpredictability. Because with Connexus, connection means everything. Experience better at Connexus.com. Nothing Connexus like Connexus.
News time is 20 minutes after the top of the hour. You're listening to the WHOW Morning Show. A DeWitt County landmark has been restored thanks to the dedicated efforts of a local nonprofit. Terry Lemmel with the DeWitt County Genealogical Society explains they set out to clean up and restore the historical soldiers' plot at Woodlawn Cemetery, which started about 3 years ago. Joey Long explains it quickly turned into not only a restoration project, but also a research project, as they tried to uncover and honor the identities of each Civil War era soldier.
Really, the roots of this project began about 3 years ago when somebody sent a query to the DeWitt County Genealogical Society about one of the soldiers buried at the Soldiers Plot. And if you don't know what the Soldiers Plot is, it's a group of 80 Civil War veterans who are buried together. Probably everyone is familiar with the big monument with a soldier on top in the old portion of Woodlawn Cemetery on the east end. So we tried to research this soldier, but had some difficulty because there was very little available information on him. And we got to looking around and realized that the military tombstones up there have a name and their company and battalion that they served in, but there are no dates, no birth date or death date like we're used to seeing on a tombstone. So it's hard to document those men without an additional identifier. So the more we looked around, the more we realized that the tombstones themselves were in deplorable condition, really many of them. Let me tell you, when the shovel hit the dirt, you didn't know what you were going to dig up. Very few of those stones are the same. There are also some family stones up there.
Weather was definitely taking a toll on these. And so I thought, well, what can you do to at least save these names? And so, yeah, I did the research, and like Terry found, there wasn't a lot of records of the burials and whatnot, and very little information, other than what she mentioned to go with each man.
Yeah.
So, each of those stones represents a story, a man, a life, a sacrifice, and we need to
preserve
keep their
those.
memory.
In honor of this restoration project's completion, the Genealogical Society is hosting a dedication ceremony this Saturday at 10 a.m. Lemmel hopes local veterans and community members will attend as they honor the dedication of past and present armed service members.
Joey Long's going to unveil the new sign. And one of our Genealogical Society members, in fact, he's our treasurer, Milton Emerson, is a member of the Bloomington Normal American Legion, and he's on their color guard. And they have a special program, salute to military personnel that they do. So they're going to provide those services. And we hope that all our local veterans and current military personnel will come because we want them to be our guests at this event. And then we have Walt and Linda Hunt Oler will be singing a couple of things. They're going to sing the national anthem and the Battle Hymn of the Republic. And then I'm going to talk about our experience restoring the cemetery up there. Pastor Scott Marsh is going to offer a blessing, and then, there will be the 21-gun salute and all that. And then as soon as that is over, we will change location to the carriage barn at the homestead for a reception. And that will include a luncheon.
Okay, very good.
Fried chicken from Kirby Foods.
Lemmel and a group of volunteers put in hours of hard work, not only researching, but also cleaning and repairing all of the 80 headstones of the men who are buried there. Participants of this project were specifically certified and trained in the correct process, so the stones were not further damaged.
Yeah, there was
Yeah.
a lots of physical restoration to the stones. We did something to nearly every stone. There are 80 men buried there, and we did something to nearly every tombstone there. The ground wants to swallow up anything that's sitting on it, especially if it has any weight. Some of the stones had been broken off. Some were missing altogether. Many were sunken almost down to where the inscription was starting to go underground. So we took a class, certain volunteers took a class from the Illinois Department of Natural Resources last June. They offer a class in historic cemetery preservation because there are certain guidelines that you need to follow, and you document everything that you do to every stone, which we did all summer long. And of course, we took a little hiatus over the winter and finished it up this spring. And so now it looks, I'm really proud of the way it looks now. It still looks a little bit like a kid that needs braces.
But it's such an improvement what you all did. It's she's being modest. It is beautiful.
Well, we kind of put our heart and soul into it. And there were certain volunteers that I would like to mention that were there pretty much every step of the way.
Yeah, please.
Leslie Hunt, Cheryl Lehman, Jared Hooker, and Joanne Manley. And then we had other people who would volunteer a day here or a day there until we got it all done. Now, if I hope that people will come on Saturday and take a look at what we've done and learn a bit more about the soldiers that are there. I think that those men are important to our history.
According to Lemmel, repairing and cleaning each headstone presented its own unique challenge, from broken pieces buried underground to re-engraving. Due to the special cleaning process, many look almost as good as new.
Like I mentioned before, some of the stones were broken, but we found a couple of them that were actually broken under the ground. We dug up 2 stones. If you're familiar with the look of the military stones up there, they have a shield imprint, and then the soldier's name and his company and so forth is inside the shield. We found 2 stones in which the shield had been imprinted on the wrong end of the stone. So they buried that part.
See?
And then the top of the stone, those stones are rounded on the top and just straight across the bottom. The shield was on the straight end. And so they just engraved the soldier's information on the top without the shield and buried it that way.
Yeah.
But we were shocked when we dug that up. And another one that was surprising was one that had been placed in a keyhole base, like a rectangle with a slot in the middle that the stone fits in.
Yeah.
The base had sunk like a good foot into the ground, but the stone didn't. Explain that. Those stones were hard to get out of the ground because the ground doesn't want to give them up. This one just lifted right out of the ground, and we thought, well, what the heck? And we kept digging, and we knew something was down there. It kept hitting something. We finally dug it up, and it was the base that was way down in there. So we restored it to the way it probably looked, or we think it looked when it was put there. Now, I know that there's been quite a bit of cleaning done up there before, but to really get results with the D2, you need to spray it on and then just walk away, because it works over time with sunshine and rain, and eventually those stones just whiten up like they were when they were put there.
Saturday is also Armed Forces Day, which honors current service members ahead of the Memorial Day celebration. Join the DeWitt County Genealogical Society at 10 a.m. on Saturday at the Soldiers Plot in the Woodlawn Cemetery. Learn more by finding the Genealogical Society on Facebook. This weekend, the downtown Clinton Square will be the location for kids and families to have an enjoyable kickoff to the summer. Clinton Police Chief Ben Lowers notes that while May Days brings a unique energy to the community, it presents significant logistical challenges for his department.
Yeah, May Days kicks off tomorrow evening, I think 5 o'clock, and with the carnival. And entertainment on the square, and going to be a big weekend, Thursday, Friday evenings, Saturday all day, and then Sunday afternoon before they wrap up. So a lot going on. The square is open through, I think it shuts down completely on late Friday afternoon. So, be cognizant of that. If you're traveling the downtown area or going to be coming up to the May Days, there's plenty of parking around that area and municipal parking lots and street parking and whatnot. But the square will be closed off to motoring traffic for the safety of the events that are taking place on the square. So exciting time. We have extra staff on through that. I think it runs, the carnival runs from 5 p.m.
The chief reminds the festival has a long-standing safety policy regarding pets as well as bicycles. To avoid potential accidents in the densely crowded carnival and concert areas, dogs must be left at home and bicycles will not be permitted within the festival boundaries. Get news anytime from your computer or mobile device at DeWittDailyNews.com.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. The final round of talks between President Trump and Chinese President Xi is wrapped up. The two leaders, senior aides, and translators in tow huddled for several hours as Mr. Trump completed his 3-day visit to China. He's now on his way back to the U.S. The president says he hasn't yet decided whether a major U.S. arms sales to Taiwan will go through. China vigorously opposes the transaction and has made that quite clear. Ukrainian President Zelensky says 3 youngsters are among the 24 people killed in a Russian missile attack on a Kiev apartment building. The nation's highest court has spoken. An abortion drug, mifepristone, will remain available while a lawsuit over its availability plays out in the lower courts. On Wall Street, the Dow futures are down 233 points. More details at srnnews.com.
If you want unlimited talk, text, and data on a super fast network, Big Wireless will sell it to you right now for as little as $70 a month. Or you can buy it from Pure Talk for half of that. I'm talking about unlimited talk, text, and data for just $34.99 a month. But wait, there's more. When you switch to Pure Talk, you'll be switching to an American wireless company that's committed to keeping 100% of its customer service in this country. I appreciate that. In fact, that's why I switched. I also appreciate the way they support our vets and our skilled workforce. Dial pound 250, say micro, and get unlimited talk, text, and unlimited data for just $34.99 a month. That's pound 250 micro. Stop paying twice what you need to pay for the service you want and switch to an American wireless company that actually stands for something. Pure Talk.
From the Hart Media Group Sports Desk, IL Sports Wire, and DeWittDailyNews.com, I'm Ben Hubbard with this local sports report. Illinois fell in its series opener at Indiana 10-4 on Thursday night at Bart Kaufman Field. Michael Farina and Nick Groves both posted 2-hit days at the top of the Illini lineup, while Groves added 2 RBIs. All 9 orange and blue hitters reached base in the defeat. J.R. Nelson was 1 for 3. Mitch Dye threw 4 innings in relief and struck out 4. Indiana jumped out early, plating a run in the home half of the first, and then 4 more in the second to make it 5-0. The next inning, Illinois plated a run on for a Farina sacrifice that scored Will Johannes, but Indiana responded with a run of their own to make it 6-1 after 3 innings. After 2 scoreless innings, the Indiana DH slammed a 3-run homer to left center to build a 9-1 lead. Nick Groves doubled to score Nelson and Daniel Contreras in the 7th, and then A.J. Putty scored on a Contreras ground out in the 8th to cut it to 9-4 before Indiana added an insurance run for the final tally. Illinois continues its 3-game road series at Indiana on Friday at 5 p.m. Randall Grichuk hit a 2-run homer and drove in 4 runs to lead the Chicago White Sox to their 5th straight win, 6-2 over the Kansas City Royals on Thursday night.
Bust out the brooms. When you're hot, you're hot. How about Will Venable plugging Randall Grichuk right into the cleanup spot Thursday night with Royals lefty Chris Bubich on the mound? Boy, it didn't take long to pay dividends as Grichuk liked what he saw with a man aboard in the bottom of the first.
2-2 coming, swinging a blast out into deep left center, and that baby will go.
And the G-Man was just getting started, licking his chops with ducks on the pond during his next at-bat in the third.
And Grichuk smokes a line drive base hit out into center field. Here comes Mydroth. Right behind him, Vargas. He'll score.
White Sox swept the Royals right out of town en route to a fifth straight win, all at Rate Field. The Sox continue their season-long homestand Friday night with the crosstown rival Cubs. I'm Jeff Meller, and I'll have your pregame coverage starting at 6 p.m. on the ESPN 1000 Hard Rock Casino White Sox Network.
The White Sox are back on WHOW all weekend long as they play a 3-game series with the crosstown rival Chicago Cubs. The series starts tonight with pregame at 6 p.m. Saturday's pregame starts at 5:30 p.m. and the series wraps up with an afternoon game on Sunday. Pregame for the final outing starts at 12:30 p.m. Ian Happ hit a long home run, and 5 Chicago Cubs pitchers combined for a 2-0 shutout of the Atlanta Braves on Thursday night, snapping a 4-game losing streak. Ben Brown made his second straight start after starting the season with 12 appearances out of the bullpen. He allowed just 1 hit in 4 innings and struck out 7 in 65 pitches. In his 2 starts, he has not allowed a run in 8 innings. Hobie Milner earned the win with 2 scoreless innings. Phil Maton and Jacob Webb each threw a scoreless frame, and Daniel Palencia struck out 2 in the 9th for his 3rd save. The Braves, who lead the majors in runs scored, were shut out for the 2nd time this season and had just 5 hits. Chris Sale allowed just 1 unearned run in 6 innings for the Braves as he worked around 5 hits and 2 walks. He had 8 strikeouts and left 6 Cubs on base. Happ's home run led off the 8th inning and traveled 424 feet to right field, bouncing off the side of the Chop House restaurant. It came off Ronaldo Lopez and extended the Cubs' lead to 2-0. Michael Busch was 1 for 3 with a single, extending his on-base streak to 15 games. The Cubs scored their first run thanks to an error by Braves shortstop Ha-Seong Kim in the 6th. With Happ on first, Seiya Suzuki hit a grounder to shortstop. In an effort to start a double play, Kim flipped the ball over the head of second baseman Ozzie Albies, putting runners on first and third. Matt Shaw's fielder's choice RBI scored Happ. Cubs right-hander Edward Cabrera will face White Sox righty Sean Burke in the opener of a 3-game road series on Friday against their crosstown rivals. Braves right-hander Spencer Strider will make his 3rd start of the season Friday against rookie Red Sox lefty Connolly Early in the opener of a 3-game series in Atlanta. Jordan Walker had a solo homer and drove in the go-ahead run in the 9th inning to lead the St. Louis Cardinals to a 5-4 win over the Athletics on Thursday. Trailing 4-3, Ivan Herrera tied the game with a single to left field that scored Thomas Saggese before Walker's double put the Cardinals ahead. Nick Kurtz opened the scoring in the 1st with a solo home run for the Athletics. Victor Scott II homered in the 5th to tie the game at 1-1. Walker added his 12th home run of the year in the 6th inning to put St. Louis ahead 2-1, and Nolan Gorman followed with a single to right field for a 3-1 lead. Matt Swanson pitched a scoreless 8th inning, giving up 1 hit and striking out 2. Michael McGreevy got the start and threw 6 innings, giving up 1 run on 5 hits while striking out 3. Zach Geloff homered for the 2nd consecutive day in the 7th, and Shea Langeliers hit a 2-run single to put the Athletics up 4-3 in the 7th. Jack Perkins had his 2nd blown save of the season in just 2/3 of an inning. Riley O'Brien picked up his 13th save, striking out 2 and allowing no hits. Athletics righty Aaron Savali gets the start at home against the Giants on Friday. St. Louis right-hander Dustin May starts against the Kansas City Royals at home on Friday. Roman Kantserov is joining the Chicago Blackhawks after a record-breaking season in the Continental Hockey League. The Blackhawks announced on Thursday that they had agreed to a 3-year contract with the 21-year-old Russian winger, a second-round pick in the 2023 draft. The entry-level deal carries a $1,075,000 salary cap hit. Kantserov, listed at 5'9" and 176 pounds, led the KHL with 36 goals in 63 games this season with Metallurg Magnitogorsk. He also had 4 goals and 4 assists in 15 postseason games. Kantserov's 36 goals and 64 points were the highest single-season total for a player under the age of 22 in KHL history. The addition of Kantserov is a significant move for a franchise looking to climb out of a lengthy rebuilding project. Chicago also has the number 4 pick in the upcoming NHL draft. The Blackhawks went 29-39-14 this year, an 11-point improvement on the previous season and still nowhere near playoff contention. They have finished number 31st in the NHL each of the last 3 years. The franchise has made just 1 postseason appearance since 2017, and that was the expanded playoff format after the 2019-20 season that was affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. In MLB scores from yesterday, the Pittsburgh Pirates beat the Colorado Rockies 7-2, while the Cincinnati Reds routed the Washington Nationals 15-1. The New York Mets beat the Detroit Tigers 9-4, and the Minnesota Twins took down the Miami Marlins 9-1. The Milwaukee Brewers beat the San Diego Padres 7-1, while the Seattle Mariners beat the Houston Astros 8-3. The Philadelphia Phillies beat the Boston Red Sox 3-1, and the LA Dodgers took down the San Francisco Giants 5-2. In NHL postseason scores from last night, the Montreal Canadiens beat the Buffalo Sabres 6-3, and the Las Vegas Golden Knights beat the Anaheim Ducks 5-1. Get highlights of your local high school program by finding IL SportsWire on your preferred social media platforms, and get local sports anytime at DeWittDailyNews.com.
This is staff meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki with your regional radio forecast. Chance of thunderstorms today, otherwise cloudy skies with a few peaks of